Ando borracho, más lo bueno que
I
lo
need something
cae
to start this off.
en la puerta de mi orgullo. Que dice que ya lo cae herido, ni que nadie.
I got a green screen, and it helps. So with this virtual reality backgrounds, uh, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better. For instance, if I raise my hand way up here, see how it disappears? Well, because the background is basically just behind me. In fact, there you go. Uh, trial and error, trial and error. That's how one learns. Trial and error. Well, I guess that's what I did. I've been married 3 times. This third one has lasted the longest. Hopefully, it'll last until I pass away or she passes away. You know, on the 50th wedding anniversary of my parents, I told my mom, I said, Mom, I don't think I'll ever get to be married for 50 years, but I may wind up being married 50 times. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I'm too old and I've only been married 3 times. Uh, in fact, it'll be 24 years next month that I've been married to a very wonderful woman, Gloria. Met her on the internet, didn't know anything, but I said, I dated the other two for a while and they seemed to be okay. And then it wasn't anymore. So I said, why not? Got nothing to lose. And so 24 years later, we're still together. Got married in Medellin, Colombia, uh, because she couldn't come here immediately. Uh, in March, we got married in November. In March, I planned a trip over there, and we had our honeymoon. Went to Cartagena, spent a week over there. It's a beautiful place. If you ever get a chance to visit Colombia, it's actually a very beautiful place. Um, and if you got no other reason, Shakira is from around there, Barranquilla. Barranquilla is coast near Cartagena. Carlos Vivas is also, I don't know if you have any idea who that is, but he's also from over there. And one of the reasons that I'm doing this, that I'm actually doing a video, one, I don't see as well as I used to. I struggle to see words, especially on a computer. Books, I can't read books anymore. Letters are just too small. Kindles will work, but I was reading so much that my eyes started hurting so much that I said I need to stop. So I'm not reading as much as I used to. I mean, I still wake up. I read the local first. I do channel 11, channel 13, channel 2 off the cuff. Uh, then I do the Houston Chronicle, New York Times, Washington Post, uh, Huffington Post, Politico, and Daily Cost. And actually, Daily Cost is it's my favorite of the politicals. It's supposed to be ultra liberal, but let me tell you right now, when everybody else was yelling, all the medias and all those posters saying that there was going to be a tsunami, that Republicans were going to win everything, the Senate, the Congress by this humongous numbers, they said, stay calm. Our polls don't show that. And sure enough, they were right. Everybody else was wrong. And they were wrong because the media likes to scare people. They love to scare people. It brings people to their websites. It brings people to their newspaper. It's they love to scare people. I remember Hurricane. I guess it was Ike. It was first hurricane since my wife had come here, and you listen to the media. Bill White was the mayor, and they were scaring people. You have to leave. You got to get out of Houston. It's the possibility of things happening are so great. And my wife kept saying, "We need to go. We need to go." I said, "No, they're wrong. We don't need to go. We almost 70 miles away from the coast. We don't have any reason to go. Now, if the winds are still there, the winds, the winds may come and if they're strong enough, they may damage the roof. If they spawn tornadoes, certainly then that becomes a little bit more dangerous. But hundreds of thousands of people got so scared, they all got on the freeways. And more people died because they got on those freeways. And I blame the mayor, and I blame uh, Bill White, and I blame the news media because they created that panic. They created that. You know, they love to make people scared. Republicans, that's their gender. Scare people. Oh, immigrants, they're going to come. They're going to kill you. They're going to rape you. They're going to steal everything you have. Uh, Terrorists, they're coming through the borders. They're doing this. They're doing that. Uh, every time there's an election, crime is going up. It's going through the roof, especially if the mayor is a Democrat. You know, in 2022, even some Democrats like Kim Ogg and John Whitmire got into the panic, you know, helping the Republicans by making crime a big issue. Well, actually, that was last year, but a big issue, and it wasn't. And even if it had been, for instance, the county judge, what does the county judge have to do with crime? Nothing. The mayor, let me tell you, I think every mayor, except for maybe Kathy Whitmire, has promised more police officers. They were going to take them out of their offices and put them out on the streets. And every time they try that, the police union gets up in arms and they say, no, you can't put civilians to do the work that we do. You can't trust the civilians. And besides, we have officers that are injured that need to stay on those desks. So, you know, they can talk about that all they want to. It hasn't happened. Uh, and I don't foresee that it's going to happen again because it takes money. In fact, one of the funniest things that I saw is, you know, John Whitmire stalks me. He stalks me with his commercials. Everywhere I go on the internet, they're his damn commercials. They're everywhere. I saw one where he said he was going to make us safer. There were going to be more police officers. He was going to fix the sidewalks, fix the roads, take care of infrastructure, and lower our taxes. That ain't going to happen because you know what? All this stuff he says he's going to do, it takes money. And so if you don't take in as much money, guess what? You ain't going to do it unless you're going to get the police to work for free, unless you're going to get the contractors to fix the streets for free, or unless city employees are going to volunteer their time. It ain't going to happen. You know, politicians promise all the things that they, all the things that you want to hear. They can't deliver. They know they can't deliver, but you know, people keep being stupid and they want to believe them, I guess, and they keep voting because thinking that things are going to get better, and they don't. I mean, to begin with, things were not that bad, uh, but people think they're bad. You know, people think that crime is up. Actually, crime is down from the last 3 years. People think inflation is high. Inflation is low. You know, we have one of the best economies in over 50 years, and people don't realize that. You know why? Because this crazy people, the ones that believe that the earth is flat, the ones that believe that the orange man won the election, those crazy people keep saying the same thing. And they've got all this multi-millionaires and billionaires helping them, giving them money to say the same thing, because all those people, those very rich people, all they care about is make sure that their taxes stay low. And I don't understand why. They got so much money they can't even spend it if they wanted to. I guess it's just that I'm the richest man in the world. It must make them feel good. I can tell you right now, I don't care if you're the richest man in the world or the poorest man in the world. One day you're going to die and you ain't taking it with you. Or maybe you can be like that Chinese emperor. You can have all these little statues of people and terracotta army protecting you, or maybe they can put some gold coins in your eyes so that you can pay for the ferryman to take you across the river. But it ain't gonna happen. In fact, Bob Lanier was a very good mayor, and there's a building downtown named the Lanier Building. It used to be the building where HLMP used to be. And in fact, when the city bought that building, they basically had to do most of the electrical because they didn't have any switches to turn off the electricity, to turn off the lights. I think the motto of HLMP at that time was "Our light never goes off." So, so making myself laugh. But anyhow, so they had to do that. But I remember telling a council member, I said, look, no matter what you think, when you go to the bathroom, that thing that comes out of you, it ain't gold. It hasn't changed. It's still the same thing that used to come out before you became a council member. So don't let it get to your head. And that building, that Lanier building, a million years from now, it's probably going to be underwater. And nobody will ever know that a Bob Lanier existed. And it's just a matter of time. So yeah, we may remember some people for thousands of years. Uh, but time takes care of all of that. Time takes care of all of that. In fact, the two most famous people, actually, well, two of the three most famous people gave up all their wealth and would not take anything. One was Jesus, the other one was Buddha. And yet those names seem to be very well known. And they had something else besides gold and money. Uh, Buddha actually was very rich and he gave it all up. Uh, Jesus was born poor and stayed poor for his entire life, and he chose to stay poor. But we don't take anything with us. The only thing we leave behind are children's, our reputations, and in time, our grandchildren, our great grandchildren. They're not going to remember us. I have some photographs of some. Actually, I do genealogy, and I've traced our roots of our family going back over 1,000 years. I have no idea who those people are. I mean, some of them were famous, so I can look them up and I can read about it. But I have no idea who they are. In fact, most people, well, at least most people my age, they don't know who their great, or they never met their great great grandparents. Uh, I met one great grandmother, uh, Mama Virginia, uh, but I was so young that I don't remember her. So everything passes, everything. So does anything that I have to say matter? No. If you're a Latino, especially, vote. And while I voted for Sheila, it doesn't matter. Just vote. Voting is important. That's how we're going to gain power. Assuming you you believe in that, but that story about the crabs, they're all in a bucket, and they see this one crab just about to get up to the very top and climb out of the bucket. So there they go, boom, grab him by the legs and boom, pull him down. Because no, we all gotta be down here. Nobody gets to get out of this bucket. So I don't know. Maybe it's a curse of la raza. But vote. I live in District J, and I voted for Edward Pollard. Edward Pollard is a very, very good council person. His staff is tremendous. You know, I've met three of them: uh, David Brisella, Anna Ellis, and Paul Young. All great people. All great people. You call them, you tell them what the problem is, and if it can be fixed, they'll work on it. And even if it can't be fixed, they'll work on it. And, you can't ask for a better council member than that. Ivan Sanchez may turn out to be a good something, whatever he runs for next time. If he waits 4 years before he runs again for anything, uh, we'll see. But too many people come to District J, or which used to be District F. District F before they added more districts, was a bigger district. You know, a lot of people that ran, in fact, moved into the district to run. Uh, so, and I'll repeat one more time. I think I may have mentioned it before. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee berated one or maybe two of her employees. And I don't know if it's something that she did to all of her employees, some of the employees, or something that she did all of the time. Uh, but, especially people from helping Whitmire, they're out there saying that she does it all the time. She's an evil person. She's got no standards. I used to work at City Hall. There was a young woman that was next to us who worked for council member, I can't think of his name now. Uh, Michael, his first name was Michael. But anyhow, she went to work for Sheila Jackson Lee. I saw her a few years ago, and she had worked for Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee for almost 20 years. And I asked her about all the stuff that people said about her, and she says, it's really not true. There are some employees that she may have done that to, but those employees really messed up. She gives them lots of chances to get their stuff together. And so she may do it every now and then. She says, she's never yelled at me. Just do your job. Do your job. And so, and by the way, there's, although I consider myself a Latino consultant, I actually have run quite a few campaigns, and I've won probably more than half of them. But one of them, Mark Campos, is paid and working for John Whitmire. The other one, I believe, is Stacy Medellin, has Dos Centavos, a blog. Now he's asking people to vote for Sheila Jackson Lee. I don't get paid. I don't get paid. This is free. I bought the program. I'm using Google Meet. I think I'm paying $10 a month, $9.99 for the program, but I don't get paid. It's very seldom that I'll ask anybody to pay me anything, even when I help them on their campaign. I will ask them to pay for materials and supplies, because occasionally, some of them, because it's a lot cheaper to do labels than it is to pay someone to do the mailing for you. And it's about 30% cheaper, maybe more. So if I do that, labels are expensive, toner is expensive, and it puts a lot of wear and tear to run thousands of labels through a printer. And so, I'll ask them for enough to where I can replace the printer, buy the toner, buy the labels, and things like that. But that's, every now and then. If it's just maybe doing some research and stuff like that, no problem. In fact, in District J, uh, as of yesterday, 772, if I remember correctly, are the number of people that have voted in District J. District J has one of the lowest voter turnout. And I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to predict that Ivan Sanchez doesn't get above 35% of the vote. I'm also going to make a prediction that Gilbert Garcia may wind up getting 10 or higher. Even the polls, even though the polls show them at 3.5%. And those are bogus polls. Let me tell you, they're especially the first one. They were designed to help John Whitmire. They were designed to help John Whitmire. So, and I don't care if they say no, because there is no way, if they had done an honest poll and they had asked who are you voting for mayor and listed all 18 or 19 people that were running for mayor, the results that they got would not be like that. Not if they actually picked people that, you know, were going to vote, or if they picked, they may have picked 40%, 50% Republican voters. See, we don't know what they did, but I don't trust those polls. I still remember a poll that they did when Anise Parker was running for re-election, and there were four people that they didn't have no money. I believe it's four people running against her. The same person doing the poll, if I'm not mistaken, did it this time. He said that Anise Parker was going to win by like 70% of the vote. Come election, Anise Parker won by 50 point something percent. She barely got enough not to be in a runoff. So don't trust those polls. And especially nowadays, there's no way that most people can do an honest poll. That's why most pollsters uh, now they combine all the polls and do an average, because it gives them a better chance to figure out what it's likely to be. Because one day one poll will say, for instance, uh, Biden ahead by 7 points. The next day a poll will say Trump ahead by 14 points. They both can't be right. So don't trust those polls. Don't pay any attention to them. Tune them out. If you think you're going to vote for John Whitmire or Sheila Jackson Lee, for that matter, because the polls say those are the only two that have a chance, don't do that. If there's somebody else you'd rather vote for that person. When it comes down to the runoff, and if it happens to be Sheila Jackson Lee or John Whitmire, then you come back out to vote and you vote for Sheila Jackson Lee or John Whitmire. Now, John Whitmire may turn out to be a decent type of mayor. We'll see. But John Whitmire has never had a job. He's been a politician his entire life. His entire life. He became a state legislator at the age of 23. He dropped out of college. He has never had a job. He is a lawyer, but state reps, they don't have to graduate from law school. They don't have to pass the bar exam. It's a nice little gimmick that they have. So think about it. He's 73 years old. He started when he was 23. That's 50 years. He never has had a job. His job is being a politician. What a hell of a way to make a living. Adios. Ciao.
Madre, madre, mi arata,